Cat and I Play Red. If you're lucky enough to have gone to Essenspiel or Gen Con, you'll know all about the so-called running of the nerds. That first panic to get into the halls to buy that one thing that is going to sell out. This year, Rob and I had different priorities. So while I ran to Hall 5, Hall 5, to grab Messina 1347, Rob was running into the main hall to pick up
Ultimate Railroads.
Ultimate Railroads. So Rob stood in a very long queue at the Handsome Gluck stand to pick up Ultimate Railroads. We love Russian railroads. We've done a ton of content about it before. We've done a Russian railroads video, a German railroads video, an American railroads video. We did a very quick unboxing of this while we were still in Germany. We've had a chance to play it now. So, if you're new to railroads and you're looking at my older videos, you're going to be a bit confused because stuff has changed. So today we're going to have a look at what makes this different to this, other than the size obviously, and these boxes are collapsing, yay. So let's have a look at what the main differences are between the two games. So let's have a look at the main boards. I'm going to try during this video to keep Ultimate Railroads on this side and Russian Railroads on this side, partly because I don't want to get the two games confused. Now, the first thing to note is that the colour of the tracks has been completely revamped. So in the old one we had the black, the grey, the brown, the tan and the white. In Ultimate Railroads they've changed this and we now have the sort of tan neutral wood colour as the first, then green, bronze, silver and gold. Now I have to say I do rather like what they've done with these pieces. If I put them there, these have all got a slightly metallic finish, which is gorgeous. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick them up. It's really nice. And then we have this horrible wood, and I kind of wish they'd done something a bit better with this. I appreciate it's the lowest scoring track, but compared to these other ones, this just looks rubbish. So if you're watching the other videos, bear in mind all the colours have changed. Other than that, the main worker placement boards are identical in every single way. One of the things they've done with Ultimate Railroads that I really like is this little reminder on the board here. It's one of the things I always end up looking up in the rules. So this is your player count, the number of workers you start with, coins you start with, the number of rounds and the engineers you use. That's also on the two-player side as well. That is a really nice addition. It's the one thing I always end up going to the rule books for. And then we have this key action, which we'll talk about in a bit. But there's a little thing here telling you the key action. You can either choose to move your wood piece and a piece of your choice, get 10 points, or move a wagon. Now, moving a wagon is specific to Asian railroads, and we'll be putting a video for that up, hopefully, in the near future, because we've played that a few times now. So, yeah, the main boards are identical, even down to the points for player position, the points for the engineers. It's all exactly the same. Okay, so we don't need them anymore. So then let's have a look, oops, at the player boards. Now, obviously with Russian railroads, we've kind of bought this bit by bit. So obviously we're going to use the red boards. This is our Russian railroads board, our German railroads board, and our American railroads boards. Now, Ultimate Railroads obviously has these three and also Asian railroads. So what they've done is they've actually double-sided the boards. So this side is Russian railroads. On the flip side we have, what do we have there? German railroads. And then we have American railroads and Asian railroads, which I'm not going to spoil for now. Now, if you're really astute, you'll notice there's a couple of things missing from these player boards. And that is, firstly, the scoring. So instead of the scoring for the tracks being printed on the boards, like it is with the old version, up in this corner here, we have these little tiles in Ultimate Railroads that you can flip over when you get the advanced scoring, but in the meantime that just sits snugly at the top there. And the other thing that's missing is the industry track. So these actually come on a totally separate board and just fit, oops, at the bottom there. Partly because with Asian railroads, we don't use this at all. Secret. So this actually has the reverse side for US railroads, which is down there. So everything has little symbols on it telling you what it is. So we've got the Statue of Liberty for American railroads. We have the Brandenburg Tor for German railroads. And we have the Red Cathedral for Russian railroads. I'm not going to talk too much about Asian railroads here because we're getting there. We'll come to that. So yeah, there's less cardboard because the boards are double-sided. I don't know if I like these or not. They're fine. They're kind of another piece to get lost. So I don't quite know how I feel about these just yet. Other than those, again, the player boards are the same, except obviously the colours are different. So bear in mind, here we've actually got the black. Here they haven't actually put any colour, I guess because that just, you can't really put that colour on cream. It's gonna blend in. So the player boards are basically the same, but double-sided and with the extra additions. Going back to the keys that we spoke about on the main Ultimate Railroads board, you'll see at the end of some of these routes, instead of just getting a points bonus, you get the keys. So we have a key at the end of all the routes on Russian railroads. We have them on 1 point on German railroads, 2 points on German railroads. And that is where your key actions come from. As well as that, there's actually a new idea token that gives you 2 keys as an action. So that's those. Even down to things like the place you get your extra workers, brown and powered at 3 is the same. They are identical. So this isn't a revamp, it is just a reprint with making it a little bit nicer, I guess, except for the crummy wood rails. I'm not bitter about them, honestly. So yeah, that's the player boards. So I spoke about the idea tokens because I said about the new one with the double keys. So the other thing they've done is the back of these tokens have actually got a little light bulb showing your player colour, which is quite handy. So in the base game, we actually start with 7 of these idea tokens. In the new game, we start off with 9. So here's the one with the double keys. This is one of the new ones. Obviously, if you're going to score points on that, it's just 20 points straight up, no effort. It's quite nice. We've then got this one, which gives us 4 coins. Now, the weird thing is this was a promo. I can't remember when we bought it, but we've actually had this one for quite a while. So I know some people are getting excited about it, and I'm like, oh, is it new? We have, as usual, this one that gives you the bonus. It's identical to the first one. Your cards, your doublers, your upgraded points, your track movement. Now, these other two look a bit different. We have 5 movement on the industry track. Now, previously that was just a little hexagon. And what they've done now is they've actually introduced this really cool little wrench. So that is the new industry track marker. To be honest, we'd upgraded ours anyway, but that's really cute. So that is now the symbol for industry track movement. And the last idea disc is the second industry track marker, but also you now get 2 movement with it. Previously you just got the second marker, now you get the second marker and a couple of movement. Talking of markers, the other thing they changed is the scoring marker. So instead of the silly thing we had, we've actually got a little train. Let's put that on the board and show you. Previously you had one of these, which is also the turn marker. Now these are quite big and take up the whole space, so if 2 of you are on the same score, it's quite tricky. Whereas now we've got this cute little train. Not only is it cute, it's just a bit more practical than the giant head. So I like that. Again, we'd upgraded ours, so we actually had little trains already. But that's a good move. You can fit multiples on the same square easier. There are a few new engineers with a few new tricks. And there's also some level 10 engines. Previously, the engines only went up to 9, and if you had a good game, you'd run out. There are 2 new level 10 engines with new abilities. This one, let's move these onto the red rather than crowding them. So this one lets you pick 2 idea tokens that you haven't used. You get to play one and discard the other one. So that is super strong. And then this other one here, you're going to get 1 point for the position of all your green and copper tracks. So if, let's just take a very rough example, I've got to remember what order they go in now. If I had these there and there, I'd get 5 points for my green and 4 points for my brown. Obviously, I'd apply that to each track. So that's another really strong potential factory. So those are the 2 new factories. So that is the differences between the 2. So hopefully if you've watched my old videos, they'll now make a bit more sense if you've got Ultimate Railroads. There's also some new content in Ultimate Railroads. There's Asian railroads that I've tried not to spoil, that we'll be doing a video for soon. And then also, as well as Russian, American, German, Asian railroads, there's 3 modules in this box. One of which is the coal module that comes with German railroads. And then there's 2 new modules in this box. And again, we'll probably do a video about them, so don't want to spoil it. Hopefully that's now made my old videos clear if you've watched them. We love Russian railroads. We were so excited about this. We've had a few games of Asian railroads and it doesn't disappoint. So that's it really. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like, subscribe, blah blah. Come and say hello on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at iPlayRed. If you haven't watched my old videos, go and have a look. We've done, let's say, Russian railroads, German railroads and American railroads. I'll put the links to them in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.